You're with Eric Stevens of OCRegister.com, and we're here at the Ducks conditioning camp with head coach Bruce Boudreau. Bruce, what are some of your impressions from the first day of camp here, particularly, I mean, the first day of scrimmages here? What are you looking for as a head coach out there?
Well, for me, I've been impressed all week with these guys, and we've had a couple good practices, and I mean, Todd Marchant and Bob Murray put together 25 players, and that they can all play, and they're all prospects. It's not like there's free agents coming in that just we're doing favors for people. I mean, these guys could play, and their work ethic is really shown, and we're trying to, teach them the little things that it's going to take to become a pro. We don't expect them to be, like we're evaluating them like as if it was training camp to make the team. But if we can take some of these guys that we just drafted, you take a Shea Theodore or somebody like that, and teach them how to use his stick better defensively, or teach them positioning in a certain situation better, and they take this back to their junior club, then we've done what we've wanted to do, and that's start to develop these kids to be ready to play for us at some point.
What do you think goes on in their minds? Because I would imagine that they're looking to make an impression, some way or another. What do you think goes on in their minds, because they know that the brass is looking at them?
Well, I would think that that's what they would want to do. I mean, listen, first impressions are hard to break. We go out there and you see a guy like Rickard Rakell out there today in the first scrimmage. To me, he looks so much better than he did this time last year, and you just get, you feel, wow, this guy's, he's on the cusp, and he's bigger and he's stronger. He makes some great plays out there. And we know it's only summer camp where guys probably haven't even been on the ice before they got here. But at the same point, those impressions stick with you. And whether you like it or not, you can't tell your brain to turn it off. And whether it's a good situation or a bad situation. And it's been 98% good so far this week. That those things, that it bodes well for the Anaheim Ducks in the future.
Speaking of Rakell, for guys like him that you could say are on the verge, whether it's Rakell, Peter Holland, Frederick Anderson, Hampus Lindholm, guys that are, say, maybe on the verge of making the club or breaking through, what is it, where do they need to take that next step?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing a lot of times is to get bigger and stronger. I mean, you see some of these young guys that we've drafted, and they will be so much stronger in 2 years' time. But and like I said, Peter looks bigger too, and he looks stronger already. And Rakell and Hampus looks bigger and stronger. Sometimes it's just getting the growth and the experience of playing at least 1 year of pro hockey and under their belt, and they come to a camp like this. They've been there before, but they come with a lot more confidence rather than fear, and that's what I see those guys as. They're the leaders out here, whereas last year those are the guys that looked at other guys to be the leaders. So it's pretty interesting.
You're getting your first look at this year's draft picks, for the first few days here. Give me some of your early impressions on Shea Theodore or Nick Sorensen, Grant Bessie, guys that were selected this year.
Well, I mean, you can start with Theodore, and he's going to be a puck-moving defenseman. You could see him jumping into plays really well. You see a lot of the same things you see in Hampus and you see in Cam Fowler, and those are all good qualities in a defenseman when you need that kind of mobility on the back end. You look, Chicago won the cup, and the main reason they won it was their mobility in the defensive zone. But so you see that. You see a guy like Bessie, who was won Player of the Year, Mr. Hockey Minnesota, and you see that he's got so much more to fill out. He's just a small guy, but his touch around the net, his ability to get open, which is something you can't teach. I mean, these are big things. Nick Sorensen, to me, he's almost NHL body ready. You know what I mean? Like, he looks like a man. So those things are always really interesting when you see them in the first 3 days of camp. So again, we think our team did a really good job of scouting, and hopefully in the next couple of years all these players will be up.
And lastly, so far the Ducks have been sort of quiet as free agency has opened officially today. You've seen some moves that have gone down early on. Guys like Mike Ribeiro going to Phoenix. You've seen Edmonton really invest and make some major moves today. Any thoughts or kind of early impressions as far as what's kind of gone on around the league?
Well, this day is one of those days that always is an exciting day for hockey people. I mean, you see new teams being created, new players jumping ship, going to another team, and it's always interesting. I mean, I think it's an exciting day that here we are talking on the 5th of July. So much hockey is prevalent in the world, and that's I think the goal of us people that love the game is to keep it year round, a little bit like football. So hopefully it continues to do that.
And if you had a wish list?
I can't say my wish list.
And then there you have it with Ducks coach Bruce Boudreau. I'm Eric Stevens with OCRegister.com.